It's working. Steve Keeter and I are back again talking small press. And the first two videos we did, we kind of talked about the origins of small press, and at least our origins when we joined. And this one, we've got a couple of new publications to talk about and promote. And we're kind of thinking that's the direction to go in. Let's promote these comics and let you see what's out there. So the first one we were going to talk about is Brain Freeze, and that is from Jim Main Publications. And this is Brain Freeze 7. And it's the Sword and Sorcery Fantasy Adventure issue.
Yeah, great Rick McCollum cover.
Yes, it is. I really thought that was a well done cover.
Yeah, I love his gritty style. It's gritty, but it's attractive. It's cool.
Yeah. I noticed I only have the PDF, and I think you said you only have the PDF, so we don't.
I have the PDF.
I did do some screenshots of the PDF, so they will be up on the video here. Now, the first story that I saw in there was the picture of your ceiling.
Wait a second. The thing is, listen, I'm working on the new Tetragrammaton Fragments, the new UFO newsletter, and I did a review. On their Brain Freeze number 7. I'm trying to find it. It might help me instead of trying to scroll through these computer images. Jim Main came out. Brain Freeze came out of nowhere. Okay, I mean there was there was all the other stuff he's been doing for decades. All of a sudden he came up with this Brain Freeze, and it's out of nowhere, and it's become really. It comes out like every month. It's like he's really been publishing a lot of these. So
wow,
he must enjoy this particular issue. Every issue seems to have a different theme.
That's what I was going to ask. Does every issue have a different theme?
It appears that way to me.
Okay.
Excuse me, I got a little bit of, I slept, the air conditioner's been malfunctioning, and I've been sleeping with a fan on me, and I woke up this morning, I could hardly talk. I had a bit of a frog in my, there's like, Froggy on the Little Rascals, like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, brother.
But I drank coffee and drank a lot of water, and now I'm able to communicate. When I woke up this morning, I didn't know if we'd be able to make this video.
Okay.
Where is it? Let me see. Here it is. Okay, this will be a sneak preview. I'm working on the new UFO newsletter. Be out in about a week, and I said something about Brain Freeze in here.
Okay.
Here it is. I said, Brain Freeze number 7. I have the PDF, but I haven't read it yet, so I'll comment on this in 2 months. No, that's not what it says.
That's a good review. That's a pretty in-depth review, let me tell you.
It says a Sword and Sorcery Fantasy Adventure issue. What could possibly be better than that? I'm going to skim through. I'm not going to read the entire thing. You're going to read the entire review. Order Tetragrammaton Fragments from me.
Yeah, there you go.
You can, stevekeeter@gmail.com. PayPal is fine. Anyway, I'll just very quickly skim.
I'm going to put a lot of info in the description of this video, addresses and things where they can get these comics, your address, my address, your email, if you don't mind.
And the United Fanzine organization. We got a lot of great publishers in there. I'm going to try to get you in there too. I'm going to keep trying until it happens. But
your requirement of having a 1 comic a year, is it? Or
1 year? That's it.
Okay, well, that's difficult.
You can work those things out, because if you can come up with the art, you might be able to get somebody else to publish the thing, and then it would be like co-publishers. Then it would still be counted as your UFO.
Oh, okay, because that's my problem.
As long as you can come up with 20 pages a year of a comic or text or whatever, you can work it out. So it's not impossible.
We'll see. All right.
And
but looking at this, at Brain Freeze 7, I noticed the first story there is called The Undefeated. With art story by Vert Bond.
Burl Holt Bond, as he used to call himself. That's his entire name. He's been around. He was in the UFO years ago.
Okay.
This is what I said. I said, Undefeated is a gorgeously illustrated action fantasy story with a touch of poignancy as the young 22-year-old barbarian battles his way past a mob of sword-wielding assassins and ends by thinking of the woman he loves and misses.
Yeah, I pretty much said the same thing in the description. I did make a little note that the art is well done, although it's a little sketchy, I would say, for a finished product. I don't know what you thought of it, but other than that, it tells the story perfectly. And, you know, it portrays the action very well. So that's a good start to the book.
Burl's art would benefit from color. I've seen his work in color, and he doesn't use a lot of, he doesn't use zipatones. He doesn't use a lot of, he uses blacks and whites.
Yeah,
but Burl's been around a lot. You know, Burl is like, I'm old, right? Yeah. Burl is older than me, and he will admit to that.
Well, I'm older than you too.
Years old,
but I'm older than you, but I won't admit to it.
Yeah. But I love Burl's artwork. I love Burl's art. I'd like to get him to do a cover for me sometime soon.
Then there's on page 10 of this, there's a great illo by Jacob Dubizanski. How would you pronounce that?
Number page 10. See, I'm still on page 10.
And it's an illo for a story by Wayne Judge, a written story, which is cool.
That looks like a dark fantasy SNS illo, riding a horse through the flames.
Yeah.
And pretty cool.
Yeah.
It looks like Odin, you know, Odin on a horse riding through the flames.
Right.
And with a tricky, the shadow in the background reveals something sinister. There's a sinister silhouette in the background.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get a screenshot of that and put it up here on the video.
I'm just saying, it reminds me of my ex-wife. It's sinister, and that was a joke. She's not watching, I don't think.
Good. And then the next story was as a cool illo by John Lambert.
John Lambert. Yeah, he's really good. And it looks kind of Conan-ish.
It's like Arn's Well of the Warlock.
Arn's Well of the Warlock.
Yeah.
Beautiful artwork. This is
that's the artwork. That's what I said. This is top-notch artwork, computer-generated lettering in the word balloons.
It reminds me of Hal Foster or something, you know. But
in 6 panels, he tells that whole story with excellent illustrations. Really cool.
Yeah, let me zoom in. I'll just show the screen here.
There you go.
Can you see that? Is that okay?
Well, yeah, I can see it pretty good. Yeah, and I think the viewers can see that. I wouldn't wave it around too much, but, and I'll have a shot of that coming up here too.
Okay. Let's see, did I say anything about that in my review? I can find my review again. Okay. Arnza, Well of the Warlock. Brad Urich did the artwork. Really does an outstanding job on both story and art. And this strip has some amazing comedic twists as the king appoints the most unlikely of heroes to battle a skeletal sorcerer. And he triumphs with simple logic against seemingly impossible odds. Really an outstanding strip with a moral. Logic and magic don't mix. You have to read the story to figure out what that means.
Yeah. You read the story, you'll find out. But it's well worth reading. It's a great story. Yeah. And then the next one is I'm in Love by Rick McCallum. It's a story seen through the eyes of Attila the Hun's wife, his new wife.
Well, I must have missed that. You know, I must have read through this too quickly. I missed that one.
Did you? Well, that one has it's detailed art with a lot going on in the art. You have to really see it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, is that Rick McCollum? Who is this?
That one is Rick McCollum. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's the guy that did the cover, isn't that right? He did the cover also. Beautifully
gritty artwork.
Yeah.
It's got an edge to it.
That's number 7. I don't know. That's the first issue I've seen of Brain Freeze, so I don't know what the other issues are like.
Well, I got number 6.
Got one there to kind of see what else they do with it, or Jim does with it. Jim Main.
Yeah, this was number 6.
Okay, and is there a theme to that? Does it say on the cover? How about the front cover? Does it say if there's
the front cover is by Brad Foster, not Hal Foster. Brad Foster.
Brad Foster. Okay. And the theme is life. It looks like. You see that? It looks like the theme is life. See the pizza?
Yeah, it says life.
Yeah. Slice of life.
That might be.
So that would be totally different than issue 7.
Yeah, I think I remember something about this in Slice of Life. Yeah, it is, in fact. He says in the editorial, this is the Slice of Life issue. Very good. Mm-hmm. You picked up on that right away. You got Mark Haynes, Robert Sodero, and a lot of other great folks. I'll show you a quick example of some of the artwork. I think this is, who is this? Yeah, I thought so. Robert Sodero. He wrote it. Tom Ahern. You know Tom Ahern? You know him?
No.
Well, he's been around for a while. But here's an example of it's a good page here. Any page is good, so we'll start with the first page of the story. Tom Ahern.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a while. I believe he might have been a UFO member a long time ago, but he's really good.
Yeah,
this was a great
work. Yeah.
The 6 was great. Number 7 is better. I'm blessed to have all of them. So, I think Jim said he's going to take a break from publishing this particular kind. Publish some other stuff for a while now.
Who said? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Jim.
I think I read where he said that he was going to take a break from doing Brain Freeze and concentrate on some other comics for a while. But he knocked out a string of these Brain Freeze. It's like all the issues came out like in 1 year's time.
Yeah. Wow. What a month. Wow. That's a lot of work.
Jim is very prolific and always has been.
Yeah.
He's like, just about the most prolific publisher in small press. He loves to publish. He loves comics and fantasy, and he's just always publishing something. Always.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's it for that issue of Brain Freeze. So I think we both recommend that one.
Yep.
So the next one we were going to take a look at is, good old Dale Martin, Watusi the Talking Dog. And this particular issue is, let me look at this. It actually says don't read this issue unless you want to spoil the secret of Watusi's speaking ability. But down here, it also says, if you do want to read how Watusi gained those powers, this issue's for you. So it does tell you how he got his talking powers.
The power of speech. And what Dale did is he sent out the same 2 panels to a whole lot of different artists.
Yeah, that's what he does. Here's what it looks like. These 2 panels on the bottom would be blank. This is what I did. Everything would be the same except this word balloon right here will reflect whatever the artist did in these 2 panels.
And that's your artwork.
That's mine.
You said that Watusi learned to talk when he accidentally stabbed himself with a phonograph needle, and he said, ouch.
So that was what I drew. And then, but there's the whole book is by different artists doing the last two panels. It's the same story, but it's the last two panels are different. So you've got Drew Boynton, Nate Corrigan, Larned Justin, I don't know
Matt Corrigan,
Tom Cherry, Billy McKay, and J.B. Winter, all in this issue, doing different panels of the same story.
Yeah, and you know, I haven't received anything from Dale Martin in a long time, so thanks for sending along this extra copy. By the way, Dale Martin, if you're watching this, I just sent you a couple of my comics in the mail, just out of appreciation and just to try to get you to send me some comics too. I'm just kidding. You know.
But look at this. This is look at the number of the issue. 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not all of the Watusi stories are jam comics like this. Some of them are just a story about the dog, but he does a lot of these. And if you're a cartoonist, you ought to inquire on how to get in his next issue.
Yeah.
It's a fun comic. So
I think I might have met Dale at a convention a long time ago, but I'm not quite sure.
I did, yeah. I met him at Space, and great guy.
Yeah.
And he also sent me, there's a little thing he calls a pocket gallery, which is a little 50-cent comic with pencil artwork in it. This is all done in pencil.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he sent that along.
Yeah,
then he also sent me a publication called Double Dip. That's a collab between him and Tom Cherry. You know Tom Cherry at all? Or?
I'm familiar. I think
Tom Cherry's artwork looks like kind of like this.
Yeah.
He does.
Okay, cool.
So, but the strangest thing about this issue is if you go to the middle, and I'm assuming this is unintentional, but it is all split. I don't know what happened, but the page in the middle is split somehow. So it makes it interesting to try and read this.
That makes your copy special. If the other ones aren't like that.
I don't know if I have the only one like this or they're all that way. At first, I thought I was supposed to try and read something special that way, and then I decided, no, it's just an accident, I think. So
something to make the comic more memorable.
I guess, yeah. It made it tricky to read, I'll tell you that.
You know, I'm working on the new. After I get this issue of the UFO newsletter out, I'll be concentrating again on Mantra number 12, long-running anthology title. And I got some artwork by this guy. You might have heard of this guy.
Now there's some excellent artwork. Wow.
There's some bleed through here because I got other stuff on the back.
I see. I didn't think I had bleed through on it. Larned, you have the longest, like 16-page strip in the issue. This is going to be the feature strip of the issue. Right.
And it's really funny, and I really like it a lot. Who is this character? I've seen him before many times.
His name is Cat. That's it. Cat.
Cat, okay.
Yeah, that's the only name I ever came up with for him. Cat.
Okay, well, it's a cat, all right.
Because it came from, I did a whole bunch of those strips, a cartoonist and a cat. And that's the cat. And
it reminds me of, who was it? Was it Felix the cat?
No, not Felix, but way back in the 1900s.
Early 1900s, maybe 1920s and 30s. I remember familiar looking. It looks familiar.
Yeah, I kind of based it on that a little bit.
It's interesting that you have that influence. You have that influence of early 1900s artwork. And here's another page. I just printed a couple of these out. Looking this over. And okay, we are ready. It looks like an exciting story.
I'm sure it is. Your readers won't be able to wait to get a hold of that.
Up at the top, we got this homeless-looking guy up here somewhere. And they're saying, well, to be honest with you, we need to look like the people that live here. We need to try to sneak past the wicked rich of the West. The
No,
Wicked
now
Witch.
that might give you a little hint there.
Yeah. The politicians. I think it was politicians or something political.
Right. They're looking for politicians. Yeah.
Yeah. But you want to go with us to find a politician. So yeah, they're going off, and that's it. Okay, we are ready, and away they go to look for a politician. This is
Nobody
great.
will ever recognize them in those disguises, right?
Man, these days, the way politics are these days, I don't know if they want to find a politician or not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's one thing I try and stay away from.
Yeah. So that's going to be a feature of Mantra. Are you planning a new comic right now or something new?
I'm drawing one right now. I got 4 pages done. But I make no guarantees it'll ever get done. But I got 4 pages done.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you. I'll show you that it's a pencil right now.
All righty. You have a file cabinet.
Yeah, I do.
I used to have one, yeah.
Okay, now it's Inspector eBay of the Cairo Police, and that's him right there. I inked 1 panel, and
that's nice.
so when I don't give anything away, that's just the first panel, and that's him.
Okay.
So go from there. But like I say, I got 4 pages done, but that's as far as I got.
Yeah. So your art style is influenced by early 1900 comics, but it's modern at the same time. It's a very cool cartoony type of art, and also in some panels it looks a little gritty too. But it's a unique style, but a combination of influences, but it comes out great, you know. So
I've always had a extremely heavy influence from Mad Magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, that is where a lot of my stuff comes from.
Okay.
Big fan of Mad.
Humor. And let's see, I made some more. I made some notes here. Oh, did you get the song that I sent you? The cover.
Yes, I did. I did get that. And I was able to play it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a song I wrote about Tim Corrigan's small press comics explosion. Well, I started drawing when I was young, and then I had a lot of things to say. And I started doing comics, and I mailed them out, and I'm doing it to this day. I've drawn all kinds of pictures in my funny books, and I always did it all for free. And I pay a lot of money just to get my pictures on the cover of SPCE.
Yes, I guess. But anyways, great song. Cool.
Something else in the recording process. But yeah, listening to that now, and I did it 20 years ago,
yeah.
it mentions people who are still around, like Jim Maine and
yeah, they're in there, yeah.
Childs and stuff. It mentions Andrew Roller, and Andrew Roller was around for a while, back in the 80s, and he was extremely controversial. He, well, you know about trolls and stuff. I mean, he was kind of like a troll in small press.
Really?
He ticked off a lot of people.
Oh my gosh.
He had a feud with Tim Corrigan.
I wouldn't want to have a feud with that guy. He's pretty articulate.
Tim was great. We talked about Small Press Comics Explosion before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
I mentioned the zine that I did that was a review zine. Which was what was it called?
Can't remember the name of it.
It was called Skeet. They used to call me Skeet back in those days.
Okay.
Skeet. It was called Skeet's Fan Forum and Review. And so just for this video, I dug out all my copies. There were 11 issues of this.
Oh, wow.
11 issues.
One a month?
Every one of them had an ad on the back with art by Jeff Gaither. Asking people to subscribe. I ended up with 40-some subscribers before I did discontinue the zine, but this is the first issue. with artwork by me based on the familiar King Kong illo.
Oh yeah, cool.
First issue was interesting because it was free, and I was just working on it. It was only 4 pages long. Got a Lon Chaney illo in there too, Lon Chaney Senior illo.
Yeah.
And while I was working on it, I believe this is the one, Dan Burke came over to visit. Yep. I don't know. Do you know Dan? He's running the Collectors Club newsletter right now.
No.
He's been around.
Although the name sounds familiar. The name does sound familiar.
Yeah. If you see the Collectors Club newsletter, he's the chair guy now, or whatever they call it over there. And I said, here, Dan Burke is here. He just walked in. I was typing, and the door, I didn't expect him, and he came. Hi, I'm Dan Burke. I said, hi, Dan. Dan got into small press because of me. I mean, he ordered my early issues of and Mantra, and then he started doing his own comics.
Oh.
Yeah, to this day, he credits me, and that's flattering,
Yeah.
I said, Dan Burke is here. The best part of him joining us for lunch is he's buying the Pepsi and pizza. And he did. And we had a great day. We sat and talked about the comics, and here's what pops up. In fact, I'm working on a new Beacon story.
Okay.
It's a hodgepodge. I started this story, never finished it, but I started it back in the 1970s, about 1976 or something. Didn't finish it. I sent it to Kurt Erickson, but Kurt Erickson didn't finish it because he kind of disappeared from small press. But now he's back. Kurt Erickson, who publishes Endeavor, he published it back in the 70s. Long story short, now he's back in the UFO after 40 years, publishing a new issue of Endeavor, and he's finishing the artwork on that strip. But that Beacon strip, I also sent it to Dan Burke not too long ago, and Dan did about 3 pages of the artwork. So it's got my artwork, it's got Dan's artwork, it's got Kurt Erickson's artwork, it's got the original story by Kurt Erickson. Kurt actually wrote that one. I revamped the script a little bit to bring it up to date. Kurt is revamping it again. This has really been through a lot. When it's finally finished, Kurt is doing a lot of hard. He's working really hard on it. I've received several messages from him going, "This is a lot of work, And
sure.
Very sympathetic. I said, "Hurry up and finish it."
I hope people understand that drawing comics is a lot of work.
Yeah. He's working with 3 different art styles, trying to make it all look cohesive.
Yeah.
And some of the artwork from the 1970s, some of it he's doing now. But we're finishing the script, and it's going to be in a new issue of The Beacon coming up sometime in the next year.
Good.
So, as far as Geeks Fan Forum and Review, as I said, this cover I think was what do we got here? Oh, this is a nice cover. This is Geeks Fan Forum and Review. Was it number 7 or something?
Yeah.
But this artwork was done by a guy named Frank Fratterigo. He only did a couple of things in small press ever. He's a guy I used to work with, and he just happened to be a really good artist. I said, "Hey, you want to be in cover?"
Yeah, draw a cover. Yeah.
That's it. And then he disappeared, but he was great. Now, this was pretty. It was, like I said, I had 40-some subscribers, which in small press circles, if you got 40-some subscribers, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was reviews. Half of the issue was reviews. I reviewed the comics of the days. I read them all. I reviewed them all. And the other half was discussion with letters. People would see, my voice is starting to go now.
Yes, yeah, here.
But let me get some water. Yeah, maybe got a little touch of a cold or something here. Don't worry, I was vaccinated for COVID 2 months ago. It's all good.
Well, that's why I'm not wearing a mask, because I figured you got vaccinated. I got vaccinated, so
I know.
I shouldn't need masks.
If I thought I would give it to you, I also would have worn a mask today.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was pretty popular. And one of the second half of the zine was letters from people. And you would send in letters. Not as many people were on the internet in those days. And people would respond to those letters. You could talk about anything you wanted. You could talk about comics. You could talk about religion. You could talk about politics. So yeah, it was a wide open field, and people did talk about whatever they wanted to. And it was a discussion thing, and it was pretty. I was proud of that one, but it was a lot of work. Like Tim had to do with Small Press Comics Explosion, and we're talking a major amount of typing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I can go on because my voice is starting to go. But this,
It's okay.
here's the cover. Okay, Sam Gafford, the late great Sam Gafford, did back in the 2000s. He asked me if I would allow him to publish a trade paperback and put all the issues of Skeets Fan Forum and Review into one volume.
Oh.
And he did.
Wow.
Look at this.
That's pretty neat.
Kind of thick.
Yeah.
This.
Boy.
When I had a table at this MegaCon in Orlando, I had this on the table, and people would look at the cover. I used to have part of my hair down the middle. I had a big mustache.
Yeah.
And people would look down at the table, and they would look up at me, and they would look at the table, and they would look up at me. Is that the same guy? Said, I'm the guy. I'm the guy on the cover. Flattered. He only did 25 or 30 copies, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was by print on demand. Trying to get this out of here, but it's really taped good. I'll show you the back cover.
Oh, yeah.
The back cover with me.
There he is. The original Steve.
Reading an issue of Fan Forum. Yeah, I only have one copy left. Only a few people ever got this. It would be great if it could be reprinted, but it reprints the entire 11 issues. Plus, it has an extra 12th issue that was never published in here. So I'd love to make this available again, but Sam had passed away, and it was POD, and he had all the files, so that's kind of cool to have that.
Yeah, really. Something I wanted to say before we go real quick was that Steve and I are planning, I think, to promote, as I said in the beginning of the video, promote small press comics. So if you'd like your comic featured on here, what you have to do is send Steve one and me. Usually when you send out a comic, you may send out one for a review. But in this case, since he's in Florida and I'm in Missouri, you really got to send two. One to him, one to me. So if you want to be on the next broadcast or sometime in the future, if you'd like your comic featured, send it. We'll do it.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's going to wrap it up for this video.
One more thing.
Okay.
If he's watching, there's this guy, Tom Fellrath. I don't know if you knew Tom. Tom was in the UFO back in the 80s and maybe 90s. And he disappeared from small press for a long time. But he used to publish something called Heroic. Jim Main also published a comic called Heroic. They're not exactly related. But I remember Tom got the permission from Jim to use the title, though. Back in those days. Well, Tom is just returning to small press. He's planning some new comics and stuff. And I, too, am going to try to corral him to get him back in the UFO. But, yeah. So I shout out, Tom, if you're out there, and you will be, because I'm going to send you a link. Keep going, man. Back to small press. You can never leave. I left for years, and I came back.
Yeah, you can't leave. Yeah, you can stop, but you can't leave.
The allure is too strong. You cannot resist.
All right. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Story that I saw was a picture of your seal.
Wait a second. Hey, listen.